and I believe it's metaphoric, puts a tree in the Garden of Eden with his creation, with these people, and he says, don't ever eat of it because it will give you a conscience. So, folks, what I want to ask of you is, having a conscience such a bad thing? And you need to think about that during the break, because I know a lot of you trust your conscience. You use it daily, and I would hope that you do. I think that is the one thing that separates us from the New World Order, is we have a conscience and they do not. We're going to take an extended break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Well, if nothing else, I've spurred up a lot of individual debates among a lot of you out there. And again, if you want to call in, you can do so. It's 877-342-6673. And if you want to instant message me your thoughts or questions, opinions, you can do so at bigjohnlipscomb@yahoo.com. I've got plenty of space up here this evening. I'm a little surprised at that. I guess you guys are just sitting back, scrutinizing my words and my actions, unlike what you're not doing with the God of the Old Testament. Jeffrey, you have a take that is rather unusual, that the God of the Old Testament, you agree with me that he's a fraud, but you believe he was just a dude, a drug lord or something, right?
Well, that's actually not my theory. That's Jack Behringer, who wrote the book Past Shock. Wonderful. I mean, that is one of those books that really keeps your interest. You can't put it down. And he convinced me that there's just too many problems, some of which we've already discussed. And then the whole Council of Nicaea just seals it up for me. That, think about the way the modern world works, where, nations all over, whether it's us invading Iraq or whoever, you get these people, these horrible criminals in the government, and they act, godly, and then they go and tell you, they'll fabricate a situation, will tell you these evil people over on the other side of the ocean are horrible and need to be killed for your own security or whatever, and then people go do it, and it's generally a religious war everywhere. What I'm saying is, if people want to say religion causes war, fine, and we all know that's true, but it's not because of the people, it's because of the criminal Illuminati system, which is, they use it as a tactic, as we all know. So it's the people, all the mindless people in these mega churches, $1 zillion, what is it, Crystal Cathedral, or whatever that guy's in, that out in L.A. or Pasadena or something, millions and millions of dollars, and then there's homeless people, right outside of it. There's a slight problem. That doesn't match the God of Luke in any way. So, but the problem here is not the people of America. I'm frustrated with them. They're making me sick, if you want the truth. But to be totally objective about it, they've been tricked from day one. They are spoon-fed what to believe. They're brainwashed. They're put in the government schools from the, earlier and earlier. They don't have a chance. So religion, I think the Bible is, it's such a tool, the Illuminati system, that the Bible has to. I don't see how we can avoid the thesis that especially the Old Testament has just been absolutely tampered with. But like I said, I think the overall message of God has not been. And the reason, my verification of that is because the God of the Bible, the New Testament especially, that is, I should say, like we said the other night, matches up perfectly with Buddhism, for reasons we explained, I think it was 2 or 3 nights ago. So that's my general take. How about you, John?
I guess I disagree a lot, and that's what's cool. I would like to challenge you on one point, and that is, you seem to want to point the brunt of this problem with the Old Testament God and all of that the religion, the hypocrisy of religions and stuff upon two-legged men, but yet your Illuminati theory is beyond the veil, almost spiritual, right? And why aren't you tying them into this system?
Well, I do actually. They're the whole instruments behind it, and then these dopes and fools that they have running it. The George Bushes of the world, the bankers, the Rothschilds, and I just take these people as just being greedy, and we've all met people that are just horrible in our lives. You just think, what's wrong with that person? I mean, these people gravitate to the top, and they're, we've all known about certain situations and different kinds of jobs where cruelty wins out because of the way our culture is structured. So it's two-legged people that are running the whole thing. But to be honest, John, everybody is. I mean, if you're, I have so many people emailing me saying, I don't know what to do. I don't want to participate in the Illuminati system, but I want to go to graduate school. And since I'm a former college teacher, they ask me, do I have any advice? And my advice is, run for your life. Because that's their system. So people, the point there is we're all stuck in this system, and we all want to get out because we don't want to do evil, and it's tough when, the majority isn't on board. So whether you're a banker, a Federal Reserve criminal, or just little old McDonald's guy flipping burgers, hey, you flipping those burgers at McDonald's, you're shoveling people genetically modified poison that's going to make them die young and feel like crap later in the day and not be able to,
it goes... Yeah,
go ahead.
There's more. I wrote a blog about 7 years ago. Got heaps of response in the negative, and it was that I was telling everybody, look, this war is wrong, and the blood that is going to be spilled over there of our own troops and of those innocent people are going to be on your heads because you emotionally, mentally, and perhaps even spiritually supported it. And I think that people always assume that they made the decision and they lied to me and stuff. But why wasn't I deceived about the war, folks? Why is it always you guys? That's the first question. Let me bring up a couple of more things that I noticed in the Old Testament that causes me to believe that the God of the Old Testament is not the creator of the universe. I've named several of them, and I have yet in 25 years been able to get anybody to challenge me logically on those. Here's another one. You go into that Old Testament, and the God of the Old Testament tells his people, hey, you go over, I'm going to simplify it. Several cases where he says, go over this ridge, there's some barbarians down there, I want you to kill every living thing, burn all the houses, even slaughter the animals. And so, Israel does that. Then he says, and another time he says, okay, now over this ridge, I want you to go over there and I want you to slaughter all the males. But I want you to take into captivity the women, and I want you to steal the trinkets. Okay? And so this goes on in a series of events for them to be able to carve out a nice space. That is not the same message that you get in the New Testament, folks. Right? Now, you all know what that message is. It's forgiveness, love, all those sorts of things. So I think they are polar opposites, and I don't
know, John.
Yeah, and let me finish up with this, and that is, folks, to show how screwed up you really are on this thing, do you realize that the New Testament is one religion and the Old Testament is another religion?